Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Wrestling Unlimited. My buttons didn't want to work, so I had to try and do it manually and get the intro to play, and then the thing to play, and then the music mic didn't unmute. But we're good. We're here. Now the camera looks a little green. I hate this webcam. I think this weekend I'm going to try to fix. Oh, it turned to auto white balance. That's what happened. I'm going to try and fix the good camera. I think I know what's wrong with the good camera. I think there was an issue with and I've said it before on stream. There's an issue with the flash curtain or whatever it's called that, here, hold on. Got to be careful because it's half taken apart and I don't want it to like fall apart. But what's the problem is, I don't know if you guys will be able to see it on camera. You see this little, it might be hard to see. Let's see. Okay, you see there's like these little ridges here. Inside here, that's called the flash curtain. Whenever you take the picture, it's supposed to go down and then come back up. Well, it ain't coming back up. So I don't know I think I know what the problem is. There might be something in the mechanism blocking it from going back up. Some people have said that little shards of metal could just, come loose in this camera. It's a Sony A6400, or no, it's a 6000. And so that's a thing. So we'll see what happens. No, it's not an old school camera at all, Elite. I'm using a Sony Brio webcam, which is a newer-ish in the last 6 years, I think, camera. And this is a 2016 camera. Not old school at all, brother. Not old school at all. All of your cameras, all of your photography cameras will have the flash curtain. So that's not like an old school thing or whatever. No, it's like a 2016 camera. Something like that. So, yeah. With all of that, I haven't seen you guys since Monday. Monday night, Rob, been real busy, just not able to do a lot of the news videos and whatnot. And so, big news this week is Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed had surgery. And because he had surgery, he's going to be out for like 6 months. Now, if he wouldn't have had surgery or wouldn't have needed surgery, because it's not does he get it or not, does he want it or not, it wasn't his call, it was he needed it. And if he didn't need it and could have just done the rehab, that's like 3 to 4 months. But with the surgery, that's 6 to 7 months for a torn bicep. And the last notable torn bicep we saw was CM Punk, and that was about 6 to 7 months. So that's the evaluation look at, kind of, you guys can see where they're going kind of deal there, as far as like somebody that recently just had the same injury. Punk had it twice since he'd been back in wrestling. He had it once in AEW and then WWE. So sucks for him. Sucks for Bronson Reed. Braun Breaker is out. Seth Rollins is out. Like I said on Monday, the Vision they're cursed, I guess. Hopefully Austin Theory and Logan Paul don't get hurt next. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. So that's the biggest news. The other big news that I don't know if this came out before SmackDown, but they announced it during SmackDown. Parts of this year's Mania will air on ESPN and ESPN2. WWE did officially announce that on night 1, Saturday, April 18th, the first hour of WrestleMania 42 will air live on ESPN2. I don't know why. I don't know what they got on that the same day that they can't do it on regular ESPN. But then the next night, night 2, the first hour of night 2 will air on ESPN, like the big ESPN. So that's really cool to see. That's awesome. But then it's like, all right, you're watching. And then you got to go switch over to ESPN Unlimited. And my big question is, how are they going to time this out? Do they want to time it out to where when that first hour ends, that's the end of a match? So they want, like, I don't know, 3 matches in that hour? Or are we going to be watching a match and they're just going to be like, oh, if you want to see the conclusion of this match or the rest of this match, switch over to ESPN Unlimited now, Netflix on international. That's going to be the big question, is how is this show timed out? How long do they want to go with this year's WrestleMania? I forget how long last year's was. Let's go. It's on Netflix, right? It's on Netflix. WrestleMania. Yeah, it should be on Netflix. WrestleMania, as old Santino would call it. WrestleMania 41, 3 hours and 18 minutes, 3 hours and 43 minutes. So less than 4 hours. Just not too bad. Not too bad. So like the first third will be on TV, which is, have we ever, I know we've never had it on ESPN, but have we ever had any of Mania like air live on TV? I think we've had pre-shows and maybe even a pre-show match. I can't remember that. I can't remember if Fox did that one year. I vaguely think they might have. No, the pre-show was on USA Network. I want to say Mania, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong on this. Maybe it was Mania 33. I remember that we've had like a pre-show of a Mania on like USA Network or something. Don't quote me on which year it was, but we did for at one time. So this is like the actual show, not just the pre-show. So that's really, really, really cool to see. And then, you know, some of the other news. Penelope Ford was injured this week. She hurt her ankle. They hope it's just a sprained ankle and that she should be back soon. Basically what happened was she did the moonsault off the post to the floor. Don't blame Carly Cameron. Everyone's like, Harley Cameron fucked this up. Like they what's the word I'm looking for? People bullied her on social media to the point where she activated her ex, which is just, don't do that, people. Be good. Be nice and kind to all. Like, don't be fucktards. But because everyone saw the video where Penelope goes to the top, and right before Penelope jumps, Harley like moves over to the side, and then she takes, you know, the bump and lands on her feet, kind of. And what I heard was, yeah, Harley moved because she thought Penelope needed more space. And instead of Penelope landing on top of both her and Willow, they were going to try like catch her-ish, I guess. That's the way it was explained, but I don't know. Not by anybody there, by an indie wrestler I know. He's like, here's my analysis of this and what it could have been. So not like someone there told me this is what Harley did, but it's like, this is from someone's perspective of they're an in-ring wrestler. This is what they saw and how they took it. So not just me making shit up. I actually spoke to a friend of mine that's an indie wrestler, and he was like, this is what I think Harley was doing and her thought process on moving when she did. So yeah, and then Jey Uso. We don't know what's going on with Jey Uso. Start Smackdown tonight, and they're like, Jey Uso's injured. He was attacked and got to get taken to the hospital. He's out of the Elimination Chamber. Fuck. He was the alternate, I guess you would say. The filler when Bronson Reed got hurt, because Bronson Reed was supposed to be in the Elimination Chamber. So, like, damn. Just no good luck on anybody right now. Also, if anybody was skeptical that AJ Styles was retired or that WWE's putting him in the Hall of Fame just so he can't go to AEW, that ain't true. And AJ addressed it. AJ addressed it on the Talking Shop podcast with the Good Brothers and was like, yeah, you want something to talk about? Let's talk about this. People think that I'm only going in the Hall of Fame because WWE doesn't want me to go to AEW. That ain't true. It's my choice. I can do whatever I want, go wherever I want. I'm retired. And so what we heard was, well, AJ Styles may have, if not already, signed a new deal with WWE. He will have a backstage development role as far as he will help develop, this is all we know so far, but he will help develop new talent. I don't know exactly what that means, whether that means he's going to be a coach of the PC, whether he's going to be scouting like he had said in the past he would like to do for WWE, but AJ said it. When he's done in the ring, he would like to still remain with WWE in some sort of a backstage capacity. And that's what it looks like he's going to do. This is not a, oh, we're trying to keep him from AEW kind of thing. Not at all, because if AJ really wanted to go to AEW or even had the thought at all, even a little in his head, he wouldn't have signed a new deal with WWE. Honestly, if AJ ever truly wanted to go to AEW, he would have gone by now. They're 6 years old, so he's had at least 2 opportunities to go to AEW, and he didn't. He didn't. Elite Tish, no. He's not going to be a manager. AJ, I don't see him being on TV anymore, or at least not a full-time role. And then you're not going to put AJ Styles on TV as somebody's manager. That's not what help develop new talent means. That's not it at all. So, But with all of that, I think that's like the biggest news. There's some Danhausen news that may be dropping soon because he's still on the AEW roster page. But he posted a image today of the genie from Aladdin taking the shackles off. And people think he's getting free from AEW. There's rumors that WWE wants him, so I don't know if he's the box tomorrow. I don't know if he's the box, but we'll see. Because here's the thing. No, it's possible. Never mind. I was going to say it's not possible for them to be, teasing this for weeks now, 2 weeks now, if it's actually going to be him. Now, it would not shock me as far as like something like that, him popping out of it because he's goofy enough, not in a bad way. So, but I think if they do and when they do sign Danhausen, he goes to NXT and he could be great down there. A lot of people can learn from him. I think he can help the younger talent learn as far as comic relief and timing and stuff. So we'll see what's the box tomorrow. We got another tease of it, but no tease. We gotta, hey, you gotta watch tomorrow, see what's in the box. But no hints at all on what it could be. That's the weird thing. They haven't dropped even the slightest that I've noticed of hints. So we'll see how it all goes. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of two different ways. You can subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here for Wrestling Unlimited. Excuse me. Also, remember, help us out over on YouTube. Help us out over there by hitting that subscribe button. That way you know we post new videos when we go live or when we post to the community tab. Also, remember, you can help us out by hitting the join button and becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you get access to, you get a badge next to your name, emotes and emojis you can use in the live chat, and access to our graphics packages. Also, remember, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. And finally, head over to the Epic Games Store. Head over to the Epic Games Store, buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. The new season is coming soon. I haven't seen the exact date, but they're teasing Looney Tunes. They're teasing Bugs and Daffy. Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck could be in the new season of Fortnite when that drops. Use our code PW Unlimited when getting V-Bucks to buy the new Battle Pass. I mean, I'm hyped for Bugs Bunny and Daffy. There's also there was a rumor months ago that it could be Bugs, Daffy, and Lola. But I don't see all three of them being in the Battle Pass. I could see maybe one, maybe two. Maybe you get like Daffy at level 1 and Bugs is your level 100, and then you got to buy Lola. Then they bring back LeBron in the shop as well and his Space Jam stuff. So we'll see how it all does go down. But that is the rumor for the next season of Fortnite right now that I am seeing is Looney Tunes. More specifically, Bugs and Daffy. So if you're going to get any of that, whether that's on your Switch, your PlayStation, your Xbox, your phone, your tablet, your TV, whatever you play Fortnite on, go to the shop, go to the bottom, put in the code PWUNLIMITED. You're good to go, helping us out. But with that, as far as a Friday Night Smackdown does go, so the show goes on the air and it's just chaos. It's just chaos. Jey Uso's strapped to a stretcher. He's being loaded in the back of an ambulance. Jacob Fatu standing on the back of the ambulance, screaming at people, getting in there, I guess, with Jay. No Jimmy to be seen. Where the fuck was Jimmy? That's my question. Where's old Big Jim? Not there. Not there. And so everyone starts arguing. Nick Aldis is there to try to calm things down, but it doesn't really work. Like a bunch of people start yelling at each other. Trick's there, laughing it off and whatnot. And so Cody Rhodes is kind of arguing with Nick Aldis, I guess you would say. Then we finally hear Drew McIntyre from the crowd, and he's just like, hey, so before anybody says anything, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. So don't come at me. It wasn't me. And Cody's like, yo, okay. He does not believe this. He storms down to the ring because Drew came in from the crowd, got in the ring, and was just talking. It wasn't me, da-da-da-da-da. And then Cody storms down, and Drew's just like, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go back where I came from. So Cody storms down to the ring and wanted a piece of McIntyre. He said, let's fight tonight. I don't care about the Elimination Chamber or anything like that. No rematches? Fine. No rematches? I'll earn a rematch. I'm going to win the Elimination Chamber, and I'm going to challenge you at WrestleMania. That's how I get my rematch. I earn my rematch. That's what Drew told him. 3 stages of hell. If I win the title and become the new champion, no automatic rematch. You must earn a rematch if you ever want to fight me for this title. Rhodes shouted, you're a disengaging, witless Scottish oaf. And I'm like, that's a mouthful. I'm like, let me rewind that and write that down because that's a mouthful. He then says that Drew McIntyre's been running away his whole career because he's a little bitch. And I'm like, did he really run away his entire career? You forget COVID when he not single-handedly, but pretty much helped this company stay up, keep people interested when he was the champ. Just saying. Rhodes vowed that he would win the Elimination Chamber and finally get his hands on McIntyre. When out came Randy Orton. And this crowd at this point was hot. This crowd was loving this stuff. Like Cody comes out and they're going wild. Randy comes out, they're going wild. They're loving all of this. And then after this, they kind of died. We'll talk about that because like after this first opening segment, this first 15, 20 minutes, the rest of the show was just all right, if that. So Orton comes out and says, well, what happened to Jey Uso really sucks. He's only concerned about himself and winning the Elimination Chamber and then going to Mania to face McIntyre, which he should be. He's not wrong there. Oh, Jey, you're hurt. That sucks. I got business to take care of. Orton headed back, down to the ring, and he directly addresses Cody Rhodes. Before he can really say much, out comes Trick. And I'm like, this crowd's hot. They're going to do it. And they were loud. Whoop that Trick. Whoop that Trick. Whoop that Trick. Everybody on their feet saying whoop that Trick. I'm like, damn. Yeah, there's the rumor that some are pushing for him to turn babyface because the crowds are chanting him like a babyface. He comes out and he's, coming down the aisle, talking his talk, says, I got my lemon pepper step, and he gets cut off. Or he could say steppers. Because Javon Evans comes down. Javon, you gotta love Javon. Javon comes down and he walks down to Trick and he kind of goes, like, what's up kind of thing? And Trick's looking at him like, oh, you just cut me off. And then Javon just goes, pop, pops him in the back of the head and runs down and jumps in the ring like, what's up, little bro? Big bro? Loved it. He said that he was going to win the Elimination Chamber, go to WrestleMania, win the title, and, beat Randy Orton's record as the youngest world champion of all time. Which Randy Orton's record was 24. Javon's only 21, so it's not happening. It ain't gonna happen. But, yeah. Javon's still got some years to beat that record from Randy Orton. Remember, 2004, I don't know why I was going to say 2024 for some reason. 2004, he beat Benoit at SummerSlam, world title. Youngest world champion of all time. I think not by much, though, because like the year before, 2003, Brock had taken that mantle as youngest world champion in WWE. So the parade of promos kept going when out came LA Knight. Yeah. Knight sauntered down to the ring. Knight said that he heard all the things that have been said. Everybody in the chamber, it belonged to him because he's going to go out there, beat them all down, and win the match to get to Drew McIntyre. Trick Williams cuts him off and says, quote, cuts him off as he's saying, with everybody saying, and cuts him off and goes, whoop that Trick. I loved it. I love the way they timed that perfectly because LA Knight was like, everybody's saying, and he goes, whoop that Trick. And then LA Knight goes, wait. What did he say? Whoop that Trick? Sure, I will. And he bops him. He whooped that Trick. I like that. There was a lot of creativeness here in the way they were cutting each other off and the liners and whatnot. Rhodes, Evans, and Orton kind of just watched on. The Viper then hit Evans with an RKO and stared at Cody before leaving. Wasn't going to hit Cody now, but I think the finals tomorrow could be Cody and Randy, final 2 in that Elimination Chamber match. But regardless, I thought this was a hot open. I'm like, man, this is going to be a great show. This is going to be a great... The rest of the show was just all right. If I'm going to be honest, this opened hot, and then it was just all right. With that, we do have some bit donations here from Esports Gaming Rules. Get back to Smackdown here in a moment. He says, what do you think of Paramount Skydance officially winning the WBD bidding war and how it affects AEW? So that's kind of twofold. We don't know what to expect with any of this. That's the big thing. We know that, the Ellisons have said before they even won it, they said there's probably going to be a lot of cuts. There's a lot of redundancies in both companies. And we saw that with WWE and UFC. A lot of redundancies of people doing the same jobs in both UFC and WWE. And so they merged divisions. And yeah, I think the marketing division was one hit really hard. Marketing and the design division. So with all of that, the big question is, how does this impact AEW? It won't, even if Paramount Skydance has control of WBD by next year, it wouldn't affect AEW till after 2027 anyways, because that's when their contract is up with WBD. There is the option year to keep them through 2028. So that's another thing. They could pick that up and be like, we'll give them one more year or whatever. Now, whether they keep them past all of that or not, that's to be seen. It really all depends on a number of different factors, but I think the biggest one is their popularity, their TV ratings. How are they maintaining those TV ratings on television? Are they doing good pay-per-view numbers for HBO Max? Are they making them that revenue? We do know that, WBD does own a slight percentage of AEW, so that's kind of a good thing for AEW. Because if WBD, even though it's less than 10%, owns the company, or a very, very, very minority, stake in the company, then they would want to see it on a network that they know is going to treat it right and use it right and help promote it right. And what better than themselves? So whether, the Ellisons and Paramount Skydance, WBD, whatever it's all going to be once it's all merged together, wants to keep that percentage or not, we have to wait and see. There's too many what ifs right now to really make that prediction of what's going to happen, because in the end, it's not even 100% guarantee that the merger and the sale and all this even goes through. There's a hearing or something like that coming up next week that they want the Ellisons to go to kind of talk about this and see if they're trying to monopolize and what it all means to merge them together. And there wasn't an issue when WBD and Discovery merged. It was just like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. But now it's like, oh no, it's like a big deal studio and media company wants to buy them. And I think the big issue is the Ellisons want to take over CNN. That's what it is. So that's where a lot of people are looking at what is this really going to mean in the long run for that? How is this going to change CNN? So we know, the Ellisons are close with Trump. So you got to think that as well. If for some reason there's some sort of regulatory commission that says they don't want the deal to go through, Trump might be able to veto that and just get it going. But then at the same time, it may not be just a United States thing. It's like when Xbox bought, I want to say it's Activision, maybe it was Bethesda. Like they had to get approval from the US and the UK or the EU, whatever it's called. So yeah, there might be a whole bunch of stuff here that you got to look at. And it's too early to make any sort of predictions, especially since AEW is still, midway through their current TV deal, I guess you would say. And so nothing really can happen unless their ratings just dip so bad that it's like they're not even worth being on the network, which I don't ever see happening. Then they're fine till at least the end of this deal. Now, it would be different if we went to Netflix, and Netflix has got WWE, and WWE is just like, we don't want you working with them. Okay, whatever. They don't have WWE over there at Paramount. Yes, they have TKO for Zuffa Boxing and some Zuffa Boxing. Not much Zuffa Boxing. There's some Zuffa Boxing that's going to go to Netflix as well, like the Tyson Fury fight they're going to promote. But they do have UFC. But can they say, oh, well, you work with us through UFC, we don't want you to have AEW? I don't know about that, because it's not like, oh, competing wrestling. We want to be your only wrestling on the platform. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Too early to say anything. Also, Esports Gaming Rule says, do you think Danhausen will be the one to be revealed in the mystery crate at Elimination Chamber Chicago, even with his freedom post on social media today? Well, as of right now, and I looked before we went live, as of right now, he's still on the AEW roster page. So if he's still there in the morning, if he's still there in the next 2.5 to 3 hours, he ain't showing up at Chamber. That's the thing. If he's there past midnight tonight, or when we wake up in the morning, he's still on the roster page, he ain't showing up there. Like I said earlier, he's wacky enough in a good way. He can pop out the box. He can be their gobbledygooker. But I don't know. I have no clue what this dumb box thing's even going to be. So, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Esports Gaming Rules. As we move forward, Tiffany Stratton was being interviewed when Asuka interrupted her. Go to commentary with Joe Tess and Wade Barrett. They set up a rundown of tonight's show and everything. They said that tonight Rio will defend their tag team titles against the Irresistible Forces. And the Miz will take on Oba Femi. Even though Miz didn't realize in the moment last week that's what was happening. He was getting a match with Oba Femi. Then we had Solo Sakoa versus Uncle Howdy. I don't know why, but I saw people on social media going, I didn't know this was going to be an actual match. I thought it was just going to be some sort of a segment. They said it. They said Uncle Howdy versus Solo last week. So, the match starts. Solo motioned towards the lantern before we do a test of strength. Solo then shoved Howdy and missed a strike. Howdy then did the Bray Wyatt corner psych out taunt pose deal. Sakoa kind of locked in a rest hold, didn't really do much to him. There's a lot of just slowness in this, if I'm going to be completely honest. The two traded strikes at one point. Howdy then attempted his sister Abigail, but Solo rolled out of the ring. At ringside, Solo missed a Samoan spike on Howdy because he dodged it, which caused Solo's thumb to impact the ring post. And as you see, impact the ring post, but then he kept on going. Unlike Maxine Dupree, who hits the ring post and he's just dead. Just dead. So, Howdy clotheslines Sakoa into the Timekeeper's area. Howdy then... I wrote this weird. He clotheslines Sakoa over the Timekeeper's area as he started to go for the Wyatt Lantern at ringside. Back in the ring, Howdy got punching on Solo. After a commercial break, Howdy was back in the ring trying to mount a comeback, but he wasn't really getting much of it. He got a Samoan drop for his troubles. There was an attempted clothesline that was blocked. Howdy then was hit with a spinning Solo on the top rope. Sakoa soared off with a splash. Got a 2 off of it. They come down towards the end of the match here. Howdy was recovering and Solo stalked him and picked him up and put him in position for a Sister Abigail of his own. Howdy then countered into a mandible claw instead. Sakoa then got out of it with a Samoan spike, which sent him into the corner. Sakoa then managed to hit 2 running hip attacks, but the third one was intercepted by Howdy with a Sister Abigail 1, 2, 3. There we go. Howdy gets the win. But after the match, Howdy tried to go for the lantern with the MFTs, but ambushed him and took the lantern from Howdy. The Wyatts then ran them off, but it was too late. They had the lantern. This was fine. It was nothing special. It was just there. Cool. They're advancing it, and Bo Dallas had his first singles match in forever. From the back, Nick Aldis was arguing with Drew McIntyre. What was left of the Vision confronted him, while Heyman advocated, hey, you got an open spot now in this Elimination Chamber. Logan Paul. Jay's out. We know that. He's not coming. Logan Paul. Aldis was like, no. Not right now. We ain't doing any of this right now. I gotta figure out exactly what's going on with Jay. So they're like, hey, we don't know 100% what's going on with Jay. Let me figure things out first. Aldis is like, I gotta make some phone calls and figure everything out. And we ain't gonna let this get all political or anything like that. Ripley and Io were interviewed ahead of their tag team title match against the Irresistible Forces. Ripley said that she had a lot of things going on right now, but she's focused tonight. Sky then continued stating that after tonight, Ripley is going to go on and win the Elimination Chamber, which I do think she does, and then challenge for the women's title at WrestleMania. Ripley put herself and Sky over as a team and said, you know, tonight, you got each other's backs. We're going to come out victorious, which they weren't. Nick Aldis was taking a call when Jacob Fatu showed up and kind of faced off with him, I guess you would say. Fatu proposed, hey, put me in the chamber. Let me replace my cousin. Let me take Jay's spot. And then I'll take care of Drew McIntyre because I'm winning this chamber. Aldis told Fatu, I'll take it under advisement, but I can't give you any promises right now. They then showed a NXT Origins video focused on Damian Priest. We then had Tiffany Stratton versus Kairi Sane with Chelsea Green and Alba Fire at ringside. Chelsea Green on commentary. So they showed, where were they tonight actually? Because they showed Jelly Roll in the crowd. I don't know where they were. You know, they're in Chicago tomorrow. Where was SmackDown tonight? Is it still listed on the website? I don't think I wrote it down. Did I write it down in my notes? I remember them saying it, but now I can't remember where. Oh, Louisville, Kentucky. Duh, because the trick was like, we in the KFC arena or KFC Center or something like that. Yeah, they're in Louisville. They're in Louisville. Also, you guys see on them Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll going to be in WWE 2K26. He's got a higher rating than Javon. Javon's like a 78, I think is what it was. Jelly Roll's an 80. What? We don't know when we're getting Jelly Roll, though. We don't know if he's in the base, which I don't think, or if he's DLC. I have to look. But as far as this match does go, let me scroll back down here. A sneeze. That was like a yawn and a sneeze at the same time. That was weird. Anyways, Green joined commentary. Like I said, Asuka was at ringside and entered with Kairi. As the match started, Stratton hit a springboard moonsault into the ring before she showed some nice acrobatic dodges ahead of Kairi Sane coming at her. She then hit a running hip attack on a prone Sane and then dove to the outside to take her out. As Stratton was entering the ring, Asuka distracted her, which allowed Sane to take advantage. Instead of Stratton face first into the post, we went to a commercial break. When we came back from the break, Stratton had Sane in the ropes and connected with a cartwheel into an Alabama slam on her foe. Sane then managed to kick out just for 3. There was a rolling senton from Stratton on Sane, but the prettiest moonsault was blocked, which then put Stratton in kind of a compromised position, I guess you would say, in the corner. Sane took advantage and hit a double stomp from the top rope to the face of Stratton for a near fall. While Stratton was down and out of it into the corner, Sane then hit her with a running elbow. Stratton then avoided a dive, and another cartwheel Alabama slam attempt was had, and then Sane countered that into a drop kick. No, Sane countered that and then was drop kicked. Sane and Stratton then hit some moves from the apron. They kind of fought around here. Sane attempted an insane elbow, but Stratton recovered and pushed Sane out of the ring into Alba Fire at ringside. Chelsea Green then got up from her wheelchair and tried to yell at Tiffany. Tiffany moved out of the way with a charging and diving Kairi Sane, crashing into Chelsea Green. Stratton then threw Sane back into the ring, hit her with a rolling senton. PME. There we go. Tiffany Stratton, ahead of tomorrow night's Elimination Chamber, does pick up the victory. Stratton is one of the favorites as far as the fans do go, but I'm going to pull up the betting odds. I haven't looked at those yet. Let's see. Where are these betting odds? Give me 2 seconds to find them. Scroll down to wrestling. This is from, BetOnline AG. As far as that women's chamber does go, Rhea is the favorite at a -400. That's my pick. That's been my pick. Tiffany is second at a +120. Alexa Bliss at a +550. Raquel Rodriguez at a +700. Asuka at 2,500. And Kiana James +2,800. Some other favorites here for tomorrow. AJ Lee is favored over Becky Lynch at a -190. That's actually all we've got. Oh, here we go. Nope, that's all we got. We don't have betting odds for the men's chamber. This is from betonline.ag. I don't see betting odds for the men's chamber. And I don't see betting odds for Punk and... It's weird for Punk and Balor. Let me look at something really fast. Let's go to my bookie and see what they've got. What is this .ag? Mybookie.ag. Bet. Find wrestling. See boxing. Where's wrestling? There it is. WWE Elimination Chamber. This is from my bookie. Oh, they've got a betting on it. Who's going to come out of the crate? Their favorite is Danhausen at a minus 200. Interesting. Punk is a minus 5,000 to win over Finn Balor. They don't have men's chamber odds either. Interesting. Who's favored for this men's chamber? I mean, I would assume it's Cody. That's weird. Two different betting sites, neither have men's odds. Were they pooled? Sometimes if too much money comes in on one person, they'll pull a match. That's interesting. No one's got odds on the men's chamber match. Okay then. As we come back here, talking Smackdown. The Vision, where Nick Aldis' office waiting for him. Aldis was like, hey, I wanted to speak to you. You guys are already here waiting for me, so that's good to see. And they were like, nice digs here. Great office. He's like, thanks, Sarah. I want to talk to you guys. Look, Paul, you're going to get an opportunity for Elimination Chamber. Logan's like, yeah, that's right. Put me in that chamber. He's like, well, I'm not just putting you in the chamber. You got an opportunity to get into the chamber. You have to win a qualifying match against Jacob Fatu. And Heyman's like, oh, hell no. What are you thinking, putting Logan in there with Jacob Fatu? And Logan's like, no, Paul. I got this. I'll take this opportunity. I'm a gambler. I sold the most prized Pokemon card of all time. I took a gamble on that. I'll take on the most dangerous werewolf we got here in WWE. And so that set up Logan Paul versus Jacob Fatu in a qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber. Elliot says, why is the Vision at SmackDown? Well, I was LA Knight at SmackDown. Just everyone was in town because you got the pay-per-view tomorrow. So everyone just traveled early. So we got Oba Femi versus The Miz. This is the second week in a row that an Oba Femi match starts and he just starts talking. I'm like, what are we fucking doing here? I was not into this at all. Like, they're really making me disinterested in Oba Femi. I'm going to say it right the fuck now. I'm going to say it. WWE is making me disinterested in Oba Femi. Stuff last week with Kit Wilson, and nothing against Kit Wilson. Then the stuff tonight with The Miz, where it's like, no, Oba should just go in there, grab the guy, beat him around a little bit, hit him with the fall from grace, or whatever his, no, it's not the fall from grace. That's Logan Paul's move. But you know what I mean. His big old last ride power bomb, and there we go. He should be in there for no more than like 60 seconds. Maybe 90 at the most. But we don't need all this bullshit of him going in there and having to cut a little promo. Oh, let's see what you got. What are you going to say? Blah, 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 blah. Read me a poem. No, we don't need any of that. I don't know why I was just doing a freaking Sylvester Stallone impression, but we don't need any of that. We should be able to come down, be like, you got to face me tonight. Sorry. Wreck shop and get out of there. That's what people want to see Oba Femi do. Beat ass. And we don't need all this other stuff. We don't need all this other stuff. Bell rings, Miz rolls out of the ring, grabs the mic. Told Oba Femi, yeah, we don't got to fight. Femi then told Miz to get his own mic. Miz said that they didn't have to fight, but as the self-proclaimed locker room leader of WWE, they could use this as a teaching moment. Miz talked about how many years he's been around here. He made the same mistakes that others have, and he's learned from them. Learned from people like The Undertaker and Triple H. Now he wants to be Oba Femi's Undertaker, basically. He said, quote, Oba Femi responds with, you don't quite have a striking resemblance, but you look like a dead man to me. Ha ha ha. Miz then continued to butter him up, but it was to no avail. The match finally gets going after Oba told Miz, you're going to die tonight. And he throws Miz around. Hard clothesline. Femi then took him down. The punch to the gut. He blocked Miz's attempt at a skull-crushing finale and then threw him across the ring. Hit him with the fall from grace. It is a fall from grace. I did write that down. Hit him with the fall from grace. Pin him 1, 2, 3. That was it. That's all we need. We didn't need the stuff at the beginning. We don't go to fight. We don't got to do any of this. Let me teach you, son. Like, no. We didn't need any of that. And it's really diluting Oba Femi. I get it. They wanted you to show that Oba Femi's multifaceted and he can hang with the best of them in multiple different situations, whether that's in the ring, on the mic, and so forth. But we don't need it all. And just want to see Oba Femi come down, beat somebody up, and go to the back. That's it. That's it. Don't need all this other bullshit. Carmelo Hayes was in the back. Carmelo Hayes is coming off weird too, because he's got some obsession. I want to fight Ilya. I want to fight Ilya. Ilya, why are you in a suit? I want to fight you tonight. Come take my open challenge. It's not really an open challenge if every week you're like, will you do it? Will you fight me for the belt? Like, what? What's your obsession with wanting to fight Ilya? You can get your socks off on it or something, bro? Like, what? Anyways, Ilya's like, I don't deserve the shot. You seen me? I've been losing. I haven't been putting on good performances. I don't deserve the challenge for the title. I appreciate that you want me to, but not tonight. I gotta prove to myself that I even deserve it. I'm like, what are we doing here? This is just weird. Very, very weird. And Carmelo Hayes was just like, all right, well, whenever you're ready, I'm up for it. I guess someone else will take it tonight. He was like fucking disappointed. I don't know. It was weird. Weird. He comes down to the ring and says, who's my opponent? And it's always ready, Matt Cardona. Cardona comes down and they have a pretty good match. I thought, they worked well together. As far as the match does go, Cardona and Hayes engaged in a bit of chain wrestling early on. Cardona hit a running shoulder block on Hayes, followed by a big drop kick. It was an early pin attempt by Cardona, but Hayes kicked out pretty quickly. Cardona and Hayes then traded headlocks and whatnot. After a commercial break, we returned, and Cardona had Hayes in the corner and him with a running broski boot. Then catapulted Hayes face first into the bottom part of the middle turnbuckle as he took some damage. Hayes, that is. Cardona then... Hayes then started to fight back on Cardona at one point, putting him in a compromising position, draped over the middle rope. This then gave Hayes the opportunity to hit the no-look leg drop on Cardona. Both men then did finally recover to their feet. Hayes got a head of steam on him and connected with a springboard clothesline. Hayes absorbed a big boot from Cardona and bounced back at him to take him down with a La Mystica in the corner, or for a close near fall. Cardona then blocked the first 48 attempt, and then he dropped him with a double underhook powerbomb for a 2. Hayes then avoided a broski boot from Cardona and tossed him over his head with a big back body drop. Hayes then headed up top. Cardona woke up and hit a Frankensteiner. Tried to go for that pin, but was unsuccessful, though, after a Rough Rider. As he come down towards the finish of the match, Hayes headed to the top rope to look for the nothing but net, but Cardona dodged it, and Hayes kind of crashed and burned a little bit. He finally did land the Rough Rider on his foe, but only for a 2.999. After a rolling pin attempt and a little exchange, there was a first 48 that connected, and he pinned Cardona 1, 2, 3. This was a hard, stiff-looking code breaker, the first 48. Like, oh, man. Cardona sold it well, though. Sold it very well. I liked the match. I thought it was pretty good. Then the whole tag division is around this crate. What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? I guess we'll find out tomorrow. R-Truth then shows up and goes, y'all want to know what's in the box? Y'all want to see Elimination Chamber? Well, you got to watch ESPN. And I'm like, what are we? We're doing one of these again. Okay. He's like, how do you watch ESPN? You need ESPN Unlimited. How do you get that? You go to stream.espn.com. I think that's what it is. He's like running everybody down and everything. And he looks at it. He's like, and then you just sign up, pay for it, and there you go. And then he looks at freaking Ray Phoenix and goes, yeah, I see you. I see you. I bet you already have ESPN Unlimited. You already have it, don't you? Well, here's all you got to do to activate it. I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell are we doing here? Truth's trying to inform everybody how to get the pay-per-view tomorrow, the PLE. It's so convoluted the way he's doing it. Back in the day, it was just like, go to Peacock, sign up for Peacock, you're good to go. You don't got to like find out if you already have it or not have it and pay all this money. No. So then all of a sudden, Candice LeRae shows up with a metal equipment crate. Johnny's laying on it, and she's like, Johnny, what are we doing here? I don't have time for this. I got to go to the ring for my match. And she just pushes Johnny, and they keep going. Kit Wilson shows up, looks at Truth, and goes, "You're all toxic." And there we go. I don't know. So we had Jordynne Grace versus Candice LeRae. I don't know what happened here. Jordynne Grace wasn't happy at the end of this match. She got the pin, right? And she like sits up from the pin, and she's like grabbing the back of her head, and you can literally see her go, "Fuck." I'm like, whoa, what happened? Like she pins Candice, gets up holding the back of her head and neck, and she's just like, "Fuck." Right? Just fuck. Like, you don't hear her say it, but she mouths it to where you know she ain't happy. I don't know what happened there, but she was not happy. As far as the match does go, Grace got things going with a spine buster early on, followed by a clothesline on LeRae. The advantage was momentary as LeRae fought back and hit a running senton on a prone Grace. After a little while of back and forth action, some sleeper holds and whatnot, there's some pin exchanges. Grace and LeRae kept going back and forth for a little bit longer before there was a single leg code breaker attempt. There was an up and over onto the apron from LeRae, who headed up top. Grace then hit LeRae with a single shot as she turned it into a powerful stalling suplex from the second rope. Only got a 2 off of it. It's kind of like a modified jackhammer. LeRae then hit Grace with the boot as Johnny, who was, I guess, laying on the announce table, I think it was, sat up and started walking off. And Candice is like, "Where are you going? What are you doing? Johnny, what are you doing? Johnny, listen to me. Whoa, just stay," basically is what she told him. But this distraction from her husband cost her the match. Grace took advantage here, hit the pump handle German suplex, and pinned her 1, 2, 3. Jordynne Grace gets the win. Now, if this was a just normal match, bullshit with Johnny, and they're out there and just able to have the type of match I think they can have, I think these two can kill it in just a regular, straight up, let them work their kind of match. Like, these two are girls that come from the PWG era. Candice kind of helped make PWG in a way. And Jordynne kind of came up in the industry. She said before she looked up to Candice LeRae when she first started. It was like somebody she really looked up to as far as like things she was able to do in the ring. Because Candice LeRae was like an innovator. You didn't see many women fighting the men like she was. So then Jordynne Grace started doing it on the indies and stuff as well. But yeah, no. I think if these two were left to their own devices, didn't have to worry about the Johnny stuff or any of that bullshit, could probably have a really, really good match. Like better than most in the women's division could have. Like, you see a lot of good matches in WWE in the women's division, but like I feel like these two would work. And we saw it tonight. They worked very well together. But I think without the Johnny bullshit, could be even better. Jade Cargill then warned Raquel Rodriguez, who was being interviewed, "You don't want to face me, so don't even win the Elimination Chamber." Michin and BFAB came up, and this was so bad. Michin called herself the queen of extreme violence or something like that. She goes, "I'm coming for you. Maybe I get you now." And then BFAB was like, "Girl, how about we wait? She don't deserve to know when it's coming." And I'm just like, who talks like this? Fuck. There's a recap of AJ Styles' retirement. Then Jacob Fatu was warming up for his match as Cody Rhodes approached him and said, "I kind of hope you win because I want to fight you in the chamber." Cody was like, "I still haven't got my hands on you for costing me the title." Sami Zayn then approached. This was weird. Handshake from Cody, but then he had some choice words for Jacob, where basically he was like, "Hey, what happened with Jay? Jay gonna be okay? How's Jay doing?" He's like, "I don't know, but it looks like Jay will make it. Jay will make it." And Sammy's like, "Good. Did you do it?" Jacob looks at him like, what? He's like, "Coincidentally, Jay goes down. You're right there. You're there before anybody." And then what happens? He's out of the chamber and you jump on that opportunity. Did you take him out to try and steal a spot? And he's like, "Sammy, check your words closely, Sammy." And weird delivery from Jacob Fatu here tonight. Sammy's was off a little bit too. But he's just basically like, "Hey, you want to question me? How about I question you? I lost my qualifying match." Sammy goes, "Yeah, so did I. Cody won." He's like, "Yeah, no. But I took a Claymore from Drew." Cody took a Claymore from Drew. You didn't. How do I know Drew wasn't out there trying to help you? How do I know you guys didn't set that up? He's like, so I got to be skeptical as well. And they kind of just looked at each other angrily, and Sammy was pissed off, and he flipped the table over after Jacob walked off. Basically, Jacob's like, how do we know you weren't working with Drew? Like, first off, he wasn't, because he just fought Drew for the title at some Royal Rumble. But anyways, I get where Jacob's coming from. Sammy can't be too mad that he lost his qualifying match. Yeah, he was the one that took the pin and everything. But, like, Jacob took a Claymore. Jacob got taken out. Speaking of taken out, two tag team champions here, taking out the titles from the champions, the former champions now. So, match is underway with Sky and Lash Legend in the ring. Lash Legend was, you can see it, she's still not all there. She's still overthinking things. You can really see at times when she's trying to think one or two spots ahead. And so she's slow on the spot she's supposed to be doing at the moment, and like her steps are off a little bit. You can just see it. She's in her head too much a little bit. But Legend, where was I? There's a test of strength. Legend got the better of it, but she couldn't really capitalize too much on it, as there's a drop kick from Sky that allowed her to tag in Rhea, who then had a nice little tandem move on the Lash Legend. There was a pin attempt. Legend recovered and punched Ripley as Jax tagged in. Also, you guys notice Nia Jax losing a bunch of weight? She said on the Chris Van Vliet podcast she's down like 100 pounds. You can tell, especially tonight, she looked like she's slimming down. So kudos. She says she plays a lot of pickleball with the church group. Kudos. I mean, it's more than probably just pickleball, but you get what I'm saying. Jax tagged in. Rhea tagged in Sky. And they went at it. There was a double sliding drop kick at one point on Legend and Jax. There's an attempted double dive, which the champions were caught by the challengers, basically. Go to a break, and the match returns with Lash Legend in control over Io Sky. She hit a big boot for a near fall. Legend then took advantage as she used her feet to choke Sky across the bottom rope. The newly minted Irresistible Forces looked like they had it won. They had the advantage, but Sky escaped their fate. Rolled out. At one point, Ripley escaped a Samoan drop attempt by Nia Jax. Legend then pulled Sky from the apron. This gave Jax the opening to hit a Samoan drop on Ripley, but couldn't really keep her down too much. She got her in the corner. Jax got to the top rope for the Annihilator, but Rhea escaped from it. Hit the cheeky Nando's kick. She then lifted her up for a big old powerbomb. 1-2 stacker. Only got a 2, though. Ripley then floored Jax with a Shining Wizard, followed by a cannonball off the apron to the floor as we go to yet another break. A little bit later on in the match, Sky was lifted up in the air by Lash Legend, and then she used the momentum, though. This was great. So Io runs at Lash Legend. Lash Legend throws Io up in the air. Io then jumps over Lash Legend, grabs Nia by the head, supposed to hit a tornado DDT. Doesn't fully get the tornado DDT, but still looks cool as shit. Nia comes down with it. It looks great. This was awesome. Kind of overestimated the jump there on Nia, so she like kind of didn't fully get her for the tornado DDT because she was too far past the Nia. Like, Then Sami Zayn's Io, Brock Lesnar's Nia. Basically, instead of jumping in and hooking her perfectly for the DDT, Io came in just a little far out. So like she kind of went over Nia and then had to like pull back, and Nia took it. They figured it out and it didn't look too bad. Nia then rolled to the outside. Missile drop kick takes down Lash Legend. Then a nice looking perfect dive. Like perfect dive from Io to Nia on the outside. There's a bullet train attack that connected as well. Sky then hit the over the moonsault on Lash Legend, but Nia broke up the pin. Jackson got Sky in position for the Annihilator, but missed. I made a little bit of a mistake. Sky was saved by Rhea Ripley. She pulled Lash Legend out of the ring to break up a pin. Back in the ring, Ripley hit the Riptide on Jax, but Lash Legend, who was the legal competitor, snuck in, grabbed Rhea, hit the last extension, and pinned her 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you heard me right. Lash Legend actually pinned Rhea Bloody Ripley, win the titles. Flash's first championship in all of WWE, not even just the main roster, but all of WWE. Didn't win anything. I don't think. No, didn't win anything in NXT. So, congratulations. It's Nia's third time being a tag champion. Lash Legends first. He said next week, we'll get here in a second because he got interviewed not long after. And we're like, next week we have a big old fancy party. Then we got a really bad backstage segment. Like, this was horrible. Charlotte Flair's sitting there. She's got 3 cartons of, I guess it's Ben & Jerry's ice cream. She's all sad. And his segment was, who can say fine the most times? Charlotte was trying not to break the entire time. This just sucked so much. The acting was so bad. Charlotte and Alexa are sitting there. And Alexa's like, Charlotte, you're going to be fine. She's like, how can I be fine? Fine. I'm not in the Elimination Chamber, but I'm fine that you're in the Elimination Chamber. And they just kept saying fine back and forth and fine, fine, fine. You can see Charlotte's like holding it in and she's trying not to break. Julia and Kiana James eventually walk up. And she's like, oh, you think you're going to win the Elimination Chamber? I'm going to win the Elimination Chamber, Kiana James. And then Alexa says something about, Julia screamed at me last week. Keep her in check. Jade Cargill then shows up and it's like, none of y'all want to win because none of y'all should be facing me. Sure, whatever. This sucked. Like, big time. The NFTs that met with Nick Aldis, they're complaining, you do something about them Wyatts. And Nick Aldis goes, I got to do something about you. You're just as bad as them, but you got the tag titles and haven't defended them. So how about next week? We crown you number 1 contenders. And like, Solo's like making fun of Nick Aldis or whatever. Solo, when he does his little thing, he's pretty funny. He's got good timing. I will say that. But next week they say we're going to crown some new number 1 contenders for the tag titles, but didn't say with who. This is when they interviewed Lash and Nia. Basically, Lash is like, we'll have the biggest party next week to celebrate. Backstage, Randy Orton was confronted by Aleister Black and Selena. Black said that he hoped Orton may have woken up after that black mass last week, but Orton wanted none of it and said that he promised to find Black after the chamber. Orton left. Black stated that's because he supposedly planned all this. I'm like, planned all what? Planned all what? This then leads us to our main event, the final Elimination Chamber qualifying match, Jacob Fatu versus Logan Paul. Again, still don't know what the hell is going on with Jey Uso. Let me look something really fast. Anybody reported anything? Go check the usual suspects. Bronson Reed. We do have confirmation Bronson Reed did undergo successful surgery. That's good to see. Whoa. Hold the phone. Breaking news from PWU Insider. Hold on. Danhausen's contract did expire with AEW. Is he still on the roster? Danhausen is pulled from the roster. Danhausen's contract has officially expired with AEW. Literally, before we started this podcast, he was on the roster page. Now we are about an hour in. He is no longer on the roster page. Danhausen is no longer with All Elite Wrestling. Ooh, interesting. Mike Johnson, PW Insider, does write, quote, Danhausen's AEW deal has expired. He has been removed from the AEW website, a sign that he's a free agent and able to perform elsewhere going forward. There is an expectation in some circles that he's the one inside the box. WWE has been teasing something. So we'll see what happens. Oh, boy. He is free, no longer on that roster page. But I don't see anything about Jay and what happened with Jay and why Jay is, pulled from this match and injured. What? How did he suffer an injury? Let's just see if there's any other thing. Yeah, I don't see anything about Jay. Very weird, just kind of out of nowhere. As far as this match does go, Logan Paul, Jacob Fatu. Austin Theory distracted Fatu early on, which allowed Logan to get the advantage in a running forearm. Fatu, though, tanked a boot from Logan. Took him down with a running hip attack in the corner, followed by punches to the face. Fatu struck down Logan with an elbow to keep the assault going. A little bit later, after a commercial break, Logan slammed Fatu down for a near fall. Logan avoided a running corner splash from Fatu and hit a jumping neck breaker afterwards. Logan headed to the top and missed a frog splash. There was a handspring moonsault from Fatu to get a 2. Fatu then headed to the top rope, but Logan intercepted it and struck him with some clubbing blows. Logan then hit a superplex, and Fatu blocked it successfully and shoved him down. Swanton by Jacob, blocked with the knees of Logan. And there was a blockbuster to follow. Rough-looking springboard moonsault for a near fall. Logan then set up Fatu for the pulverizer, but he couldn't really connect with it. Fatu then caught Paul with a running hip attack. There's another distraction from Austin Theory, also Paul Heyman this time, which allowed Logan to hit a low blow on Fatu, followed by the titanium-loaded punch to the face. There's a frog splash from Fatu, but only got a 2. Meanwhile, on the outside, a masked man, not dressed quite like our previous masked man, went after Austin Theory. Logan Paul jumped out of the ring and punched the guy right in the face, knocking him down, pulled the mask off, and it's just an unknown person that no one knows who it is. Like, no one at all. I've never seen this guy in my life. So they're dealing with him on the outside. Everyone's confused. Who are you? Who are you? What the hell's going on? Right? And back in the ring, Fatu had Logan dead to rights after a moonsault, but Drew McIntyre would come in, blast him in the face of the WWE Championship. This then allowed Logan to roll him up. 1, 2, 3. Logan Paul does qualify for the Elimination Chamber. Now, as far as who this masked hombre was, according to Mike Johnson of PWU Insider, he writes, quote, "Masked man unmasked on Friday and was not identified by name on the broadcast. However, he was portrayed by Donovan Isolina, a.k.a. the Magnificent Don Furio. Isolina has trained at Seth Rollins and Mark Brave's Black and Brave Wrestling Academy in Iowa. He was also trained under Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall at the Nightmare Factory. So he's trained at the Nightmare Factory and the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy." Interesting. He also wrestles on the Independents in the Carolinas. Never seen the guy, never heard of the guy, don't know anything about the guy, but that's who it is. That's who it is. The show then, goes off the air with the Vision standing tall and Logan Paul qualifying for the Elimination Chamber. With that, guys, I feel like this was like an interesting SmackDown because it started super hot. Then it kind of got meh. And then that main event kind of brought it back a little bit. It never got as hot as it was at the start. But overall, it was an okay SmackDown at best, if I'm going to be completely honest. With that, you know what I thought of the show. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of tonight's Friday Night SmackDown as we go and refresh the polls. As far as the Threads poll does go, 40% liked the show, 35% thought it was just all right, and 25% didn't like it. Looking over at the, Twitter X poll, 46% liked the show, 33% thought it was just all right, and 20% didn't like it. Looking at the community poll, 75% liked the show, 20% thought it was just all right, and 4% didn't like it. And finally, the live poll here on YouTube, 77% liked the show, 17% thought it was just all right, and 6% didn't like it. With that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. With that, we'll be back live tomorrow following the Elimination Chamber. With that, have a great rest of your night, guys, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.